Welcome to the AI Hub, a podcast for AI-driven side hustles designed for IT professionals like you.
From cutting-edge AI tools to practical, no-nonsense tips, each episode brings you closer to turning tech into income.
Tune in to discover smart and sustainable ways to boost your career and income with AI.
Hey everyone, and welcome to AI Hub. I'm Larry, and we're diving deep today.
I'm Amanda. AI funding in 2024. It was wild.
Like a rocket taking off.
Yeah.
We saw generative AI funding hit a record $56 billion.
Yeah, that's right. And today we're going to unpack what fueled this boom. We'll look at who the major players are and, try to make sense of it all.
We've got articles and data, and our mission is to make sense of it all.
Right. Like, what does it mean for the future?
Okay, so first things first. $56 billion across 885 deals.
Almost double the investment from the year before.
Double. It's hard to even grasp,
I know. It really shows how much confidence investors have in this, in generative AI.
Yeah, they're betting it'll disrupt pretty much every industry.
Absolutely.
The article mentioned some big names, the usual suspects, OpenAI, Anthropic, Stability AI. Are these the companies driving this whole surge?
Oh, absolutely. OpenAI's deal with Microsoft, $10 billion, right?
Yeah.
And then Anthropic's that strategic investment from Amazon. These are huge deals that are really attracting attention. But it's not just the big players. Smaller startups, especially those focusing on AI coding assistants, they're getting a lot of funding too.
So it seems like everyone and their grandma is jumping on this AI bandwagon. But is this sustainable?
That is the question.
Yeah, the article mentions a potential oversaturation of startups. Like, they all have similar ideas.
Right. Everyone's doing the same thing. So the pressure is on for these companies. They've got to prove they're worth it, actually generate revenue. The next year will be crucial to see if these investments actually translate into real-world impact and returns.
So is it all about chatbots and coding assistants? Mm-hmm. What else is attracting all this investment?
Generative AI. It's so much bigger than that. We're seeing it used across images, video, speech, music. We're even seeing new tools and services popping up. It's pretty much endless, the possibilities. And that's what's driving the excitement.
Yeah.
And the investment.
Okay, before we move on, I have to ask.
Yeah.
What's the one big takeaway you want our listeners to remember from all this?
I think the big takeaway is that 2024, it was a landmark year for generative AI. We saw this crazy amount of funding fueling innovation and competition, but the real test is yet to come.
Right.
Will these companies actually deliver on their promises, or is this all just a bunch of hype?
Yeah, will the bubble burst? It's definitely a story worth following closely.
Absolutely. It'll be interesting to see which companies and technologies, rise to the top and which ones fall behind.
Which ones really make a difference.
Right, exactly. It's a dynamic, unpredictable landscape, and that's what makes it so exciting.
Okay, so we've got this incredible surge in funding, but let's get a bit more specific. We talked about AI coding assistants. The article highlighted a few companies that are really worth looking at.
Yeah. Augment, Magic, Codium, and Poolside. They all got over $100 million in funding each.
Wow. That's a lot of money. Clearly something big is happening there.
These companies are all developing tools that can help developers write code faster.
So it's like having an AI pair programmer.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Imagine an AI that can kind of anticipate your coding needs and suggest solutions. It's a game changer for productivity, and investors see that.
It's a fascinating concept, but is this just for coders? Or is this a broader trend we're seeing?
It's definitely part of a larger trend. The article highlights other AI startups, and they're attracting serious funding even outside of the coding world.
Okay.
Companies like Black Forest Labs and 11 Labs, they've both raised tens of millions of dollars.
Black Forest Labs and 11 Labs. I feel like I've heard of them. What are they doing?
Black Forest Labs, they're developing AI tools for game developers.
Oh, so they're using AI to make those games more immersive and engaging.
Exactly. Pushing the boundaries of game design.
Very cool. And what about 11 Labs?
11 Labs, they specialize in synthetic speech technology. They've created a platform that can generate incredibly realistic human-like voices.
Whoa, that's pretty impressive.
Yeah.
It sounds like generative AI is making waves everywhere. It's not just about coding anymore. It's impacting creative industries too.
Yeah, absolutely. And the investment landscape reflects that. Investors are seeing the potential of AI to transform industries and even create new ones.
It's like witnessing a new technological era, powered by AI.
It is an exciting time. But with all this investment comes responsibility.
You're right. It's crucial for these companies to really think about the ethical implications as they develop these powerful AI technologies.
For sure. It's not just about profits, it's about shaping a future where AI benefits humanity.
Yeah. We need to make sure AI is used ethically and responsibly, in a way that actually empowers us and makes our lives better.
Absolutely. And this brings us back to that question of sustainability. With so many AI startups popping up, will they all be able to make it?
Yeah, that's a good question. The funding might be flowing freely now, but the pressure is on for these companies to actually deliver. The coming years will be a crucial test.
They're going to have to show that they can translate their ideas into real products and services, ones that solve real problems and, bring in some cash.
It'll be interesting to see how it all plays out. Which companies become the leaders? Which innovations really change our world?
Yeah. It's a dynamic, unpredictable world, and that's what makes it so captivating. We're seeing the evolution of generative AI happening right now.
It's like standing at the edge of new frontier, full of promise and potential pitfalls.
But one thing's for sure, generative AI is here to stay, and it's going to impact our lives for years to come.
All right, so we've talked about the advancements, the funding frenzy, and the potential challenges, but let's bring it back to you, the listener.
Why should you care about all of this?
Exactly. This incredible surge in AI, how does it impact your everyday life?
That's a great question. This isn't just some tech industry thing, Generative AI is going to affect almost everything. Think about education, healthcare, marketing, even how we entertain ourselves.
So this isn't just about the coders and the investors. It's about how we'll live, work, and play in the future.
Exactly. And that's why staying informed is so important. We as consumers need to understand how these technologies work, what their limitations are, and how to use them ethically.
It's like we need to become AI literate.
Yes,
Yeah.
Exactly. We need to be informed participants in this, not just passive observers.
Absolutely. And that's what we try to do here at AI Hub.
Yeah.
We want to give our listeners the knowledge they need to understand this crazy world of AI.
I agree. It's about empowering ourselves and shaping a future where AI makes our lives better.
Well said. Now, where do you think AI will have the biggest impact in the coming years?
Ooh, that's a tough one. So many possibilities, but if I had to choose a few, I'd say healthcare, education, and the creative industries are all ripe for disruption.
Healthcare and education makes sense. AI could really personalize treatments and learning in ways we haven't even thought of. But what about the creative industries? How will AI disrupt those?
Well, imagine tools that can help musicians write music, or help writers tell stories, or even artists create amazing visuals. The potential for humans and AI to create together is just mind-blowing.
So AI is becoming a creative partner.
Exactly. And that's just the beginning. We're only starting to see what generative AI can really do, and I have a feeling the coming years will bring some surprises.
It really is mind-blowing to think about. But, we've talked a lot about the positives. What about the potential downsides of all this investment?
Right, there are some concerns. I mean, this flood of funding is driving innovation, but it's also, raising some red flags.
Like what? What should we be keeping an eye on?
Well, one concern is, oversaturation. With so much money going into AI, we're seeing all these startups pop up, and a lot of them have basically the same ideas.
So will they all make it? Is there even enough space for everyone in the market?
Exactly. Not every startup is going to hit it big, right? Some are going to struggle. They'll have a hard time standing out or finding a way to actually make money.
It's like a gold rush. Everyone's trying to get their piece, but only a few will actually strike it rich.
That's a great analogy. And you know what happens in a gold rush? You get a bubble.
A bubble. You mean like inflated valuations and unrealistic expectations?
Exactly. Investors see something hot and they get excited. Sometimes they throw money at it without really thinking about the long term.
So what happens when that bubble bursts?
Well, things could get messy. When the hype dies down, we could see a market correction. Some companies might not be able to get more funding. Valuations could plummet.
Sounds risky for everyone involved.
It is. That's why companies need to, focus on building something solid. Develop products that actually work and show real-world impact. Hype will only get you so far.
It's about substance, not just promises.
Exactly. And investors, they need to be smart too. Don't get caught up in the excitement. Do your research. Look at the company's long-term plan. Invest in companies that are building something for the future, not just chasing trends.
Sound advice. So for those of us who aren't investors, how do we keep up with all this? How do we navigate this crazy world?
Well, I think the key is AI literacy.
AI literacy.
Yeah, basically understanding the basics. How does AI work? What are the benefits? What are the limitations? If you can understand these things, You'll be able to think critically about the news and make your own informed decisions about how you use this tech.
So we can't just accept every AI advancement as a good thing. We need to think about it.
Exactly. AI is a powerful tool, and like any tool, it can be used for good or bad. It's up to us to make sure that it's being used ethically and responsibly.
And that's where AI Hub comes in, right? We're here to help you make sense of it all.
Exactly. We break down complex concepts, explore the latest advancements, and discuss the ethical stuff too.
We want you to be an active part of this revolution, not just a bystander.
Because ultimately, the future of AI, it's being shaped by all of us.
That's a great point. It's not just about the tech itself. It's about how we choose to use it. And that's a conversation we need to be having.
Definitely. And I think that's a good place to transition. Let's move away from the financial side of things and look at the potential impact on society as a whole.
Yeah, how will all these changes affect our lives, our work, even our relationships with technology?
Well, for starters, generative AI is already changing how we work. Things that only humans used to be able to do, like writing, coding, designing, are now being done, or at least helped, by AI tools.
Like those AI coding assistants we talked about. How are those impacting software development?
They're already making a big difference. These tools can do the repetitive tasks, they suggest code snippets, and that frees up developers to focus on the more creative parts of their job.
So it's not about replacing developers entirely, it's about making them more efficient.
Exactly. AI assistants are like teammates, helping developers write better code faster.
That's really interesting. So it's changing how software is developed.
It is, and we're seeing this in other areas too: marketing, journalism, even creative fields like music and art.
So it's not just about taking over jobs, it's also about enhancing creativity.
Exactly. AI is becoming a creative partner, pushing the boundaries of what's possible.
Like having an AI muse, right?
Yeah.
Giving you inspiration.
I love that. Yeah, AI can help us get past those creative blocks, explore new ideas, and come up with things we never would have thought of on our own.
It's exciting, but are there any downsides to this AI-powered creative revolution?
Well, one concern is job displacement. If AI can do things that humans used to do, what happens to those people?
That's a tough one. A question we're going to have to figure out as a society.
We have to think about how to retrain people for new jobs. Jobs that need creativity, critical thinking, and the ability to work with AI.
Right, adapting to a changing world, finding ways for AI to help people, not replace them.
Exactly. And it's not just about jobs. There are ethical issues too.
Oh, like what?
Yeah.
What kind of ethical challenges do we need to think about with generative AI?
Well, one is bias. If AI is trained on data that's biased, it can just perpetuate that bias, even make it worse.
Yeah, we need to be careful about that. We need to make sure AI is being developed and used fairly.
We need to be really thoughtful about the data that's used to train these systems, and we need to find ways to reduce bias.
Build AI that reflects our values, not our prejudices.
Exactly. And then there's also the question of ownership.
What do you mean?
Well, if AI can create things like art, music, even code, who owns the copyright? Is it the AI, the developers, or the people using the AI?
That's a great question. It brings up a lot of legal and ethical issues.
It does, and these are just a few of the many things we're going to have to deal with as AI keeps evolving.
It feels like we're heading into uncharted territory. There's a lot of uncertainty about what's coming next.
There is, but it's also really exciting. We're at the very beginning of a new technological era, one that could completely change our world.
It's both thrilling and a little scary.
I agree, but if we approach this with an open mind, some caution, and a commitment to doing things ethically, I think we can use AI's power for good.
And that's what we're all about here at AI Hub. We explore possibilities, explain the complicated stuff, and try to start conversations about the future of AI.
We want to be your guides through this revolution, helping you understand what's happening with AI.
And we want to help you feel like you can be part of this change.
Because in the end, the future of AI is in our hands. If we work together, we can make sure it benefits everyone.
Well said. So we've talked about the potential issues with all this AI investment and how it could affect society. But let's zoom in on our listeners again.
Right. How does all this affect you?
Yeah, it's easy to get lost in the big picture, but what does this AI revolution mean for your daily life?
Well, one thing is that AI is already changing how we use technology. Think about the things you use every day: search engines, social media, email. AI is improving a lot of these, often in ways we don't even realize.
So AI is working behind the scenes, making our digital lives a bit easier.
Exactly. And this is just the start. As AI gets better, we'll see even more personalized and user-friendly experiences.
Imagine having a virtual assistant that can schedule your day, answer your questions, and even figure out what you need before you even ask.
That's not just a fantasy anymore. It's becoming reality. And it's not just about personal stuff either. Think about education. AI can personalize learning, so the content and pace are tailored to each student.
That's amazing. It could totally change how we learn and teach.
I know. And in healthcare, AI is helping to analyze medical images, diagnose illnesses, and even develop new treatments. This could change healthcare as we know it. More accurate diagnoses and better treatments for everyone.
So generative AI really does have the potential to make our lives better in so many ways.
It does. But we can't forget that it's a tool. And like any tool, it can be used for good or bad. We need to make sure it's being used in a way that's responsible and ethical.
So what can we do as individuals to help shape the future of AI?
Well, the first step is to learn about it. Educate yourself about what AI is, what it can do, and what its limitations are. The more we understand, the better choices we can make about its development and use.
It's that idea of AI literacy we talked about.
Exactly. Don't be afraid to ask questions. Challenge the assumptions you hear. Get involved in discussions about the ethical implications of AI. This is a technology that's going to affect all of us, so we all need to have a say in how it develops.
That's a great point. The future of AI isn't set in stone. It's something we're all actively creating through our choices and actions.
Absolutely, and that's what we're trying to do here at AI Hub. We want our listeners to be informed and involved in this AI revolution.
Because at the end of the day, the future of AI is in our hands. And if we all work together, we can make sure it benefits all of humanity.
Couldn't have said it better myself. It's always fascinating to dive into the world of AI with you.
The pleasure is all mine. And to everyone listening, thank you for joining us as we explore generative AI funding and what it means for the future. Stay curious, stay informed, and stay engaged.
And don't forget.
So we've talked about the good and the bad, the potential, the risks. But let's make this personal.
Yeah, let's bring it back to our listeners.
This AI revolution, how's it going to affect you?
Right, because it's easy to get caught up in the big picture, but how does this actually impact your everyday life?
Exactly.
For one, generative AI is already changing how we use tech. Think about it. The things you use every day.
Yeah.
Search engines, social media, your email.
Yeah.
A lot of these things are being powered by AI.
Like behind the scenes.
Yeah, often without us even realizing it, making our digital lives smoother and more efficient.
Okay.
And this is just going to keep happening. Generative AI is getting more and more sophisticated, so we can expect more personalized and intuitive experiences in the future.
Like imagine having a virtual assistant, not just one that schedules your appointments or answers questions, but one that can actually anticipate your needs.
Yeah.
Offer helpful suggestions.
That's not science fiction anymore. That's becoming a reality. And it's not just about personal productivity. Think about education.
Go.
AI can create personalized learning experiences, tailoring the content, to each student's needs.
Yeah, it could revolutionize how we learn and how we teach.
Absolutely, and healthcare.
Yeah.
AI is being used to analyze medical images, help with diagnoses,
Right.
even develop new treatments. It could really transform how we approach healthcare, More accurate diagnoses, more effective treatments.
So generative AI could really improve our lives in so many ways.
It really could. But it's important to remember that AI, it's a tool. Like any tool, it can be used for good or for bad. It's our responsibility to make sure it's developed and used ethically.
Right. So what can we do? How can we as individuals actually shape the future of AI?
Well, I think the first step is to learn. Learn about AI, what it can do, its limitations. The more we understand, the better decisions we can make about, how it's developed and used.
It's about becoming AI literate, like we talked about before.
Exactly. And don't be afraid to ask questions. Challenge the assumptions that are out there. Engage in these conversations about the ethical implications of AI. This is a technology that affects all of us, so we all need to have a voice.
Yeah, that's a powerful message. It means that the future of AI, it's not already decided. It's something we create through our choices and actions.
Exactly. And that's really what we want to encourage here at AI Hub. We want our listeners to be informed, to be active participants in this AI revolution.
Because the future of AI is in our hands.
Yeah.
And if we work together, we can ensure that it's a future that benefits everyone.
That's the goal.
I always enjoy our deep dives into the world of AI.
Me too. It's always fascinating.
All right. Well, to all our listeners, thank you for joining us on this exploration of generative AI funding. Remember to stay curious, stay informed, and stay engaged.
And of course,
don't forget to subscribe to AI Hub. We'll be back soon with more deep dives into the exciting world of artificial intelligence. Until then, keep exploring.
Welcome to the AI Hub, a podcast for AI-driven side hustles designed for IT professionals like you.
From cutting-edge AI tools to practical, no-nonsense tips, each episode brings you closer to turning tech into income.
Tune in to discover smart and sustainable ways to boost your career and income with AI.